Good morning. This is the Blaine's World webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and get more information and listen to previous shows at our website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce April Connor, who's a spiritual practitioner, for being my guest today. And April, you can feel free to wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. Okay, give them a big wave. That is April Connor. April Connor, as she says, I love this, April, it's all about love and connection. She knows we're all in this human experience together, and that means we all need support from time to time. She's deeply grateful to be her spiritual guide, writer, and speaker, supporting others and finding their way. I'm going to be talking in just a second, April, about kind of an exciting thing you're involved in. But before we do that, I always like to find out a little bit about the person I'm going to speak with. I think it's you were telling me up there, we met kind of informally a couple of times, first time on the air. And so you grew up as a child where?
I was actually born in Asheville. I claim Asheville as my home. But we moved away when I was two. I say I took a 30-year hiatus. I grew up in Georgia, about an hour southwest of Atlanta.
Okay. And so when you're growing up in Georgia, did you always know you wanted to be, as a young child, did you always know you wanted to be the spiritual practitioner?
My dad said I was always the seeker.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
and he said because I would, there was a, a a church bus that went by, and I wanted to be on it. I was looking for the exact place that I fit. So I was always going to different churches, and I grew up in the South, so what I knew was Christianity. But my dad had a little statue of Buddha on his nightstand. And then later, my mother introduced me to Conversations with God, and that was an answer that I wasn't expecting.
Okay, but that's very cool that, I love the idea of the Buddha statue,
Yeah.
just out of nowhere. So your mother introduced you to that one thing. When did you kind of start moving in a direction beyond school? Like, did you study stuff or you study on your own?
I did a lot of studying on my own. I think my dad was the one that gave me Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance.
Very cool.
And then Conversations with God was around that same time. When I came to Asheville, I lived with my uncle for a while. And and I got the Conversations with God newsletter, and he got the Science of Mind newsletter, which is where the Centers for Spiritual Living has their basis, as with Ernest Holmes and Science of Mind. And so he got the Science of Mind newsletter, and I got the Conversations with God newsletter, and we would exchange. And so that was my first introduction to Science of Mind. And then when I years fast forward many years in a marriage and then not, um, uh, I found Center for Spiritual Living the last Sunday in 2014. I walked in the doors, and I knew I wanted to be a spiritual practitioner there. Um, right after that, it just there was such a resonance with the teaching.
If you would talk a little bit about the Center for Spiritual Living, this is just a really cool place.
Yes,
And it's funny, because the people who know it and find it, we were talking off there about a mutual friend of ours, just love it, but a lot of people don't know about it. It's kind of
absolutely.
it's just a
Yes,
really, yeah.
Center for Spiritual Living Asheville is part of a global organization, which is Centers for Spiritual Living. And there's over 400 different centers around the globe, including more teaching chapters and things like that. But it's based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, who says he didn't create anything. He synthesized ancient religions or ancient thoughts, and just took the what worked out of all, all of these various faith traditions that he studied, and synthesized it into what he called science of mind.
You
Um,
you were telling me with respect to the center you're at, you're actually, what's your title there? You're the spiritual
I'm the center administrator.
of the center. And
Hmm.
so this is a center that open to anybody, is that correct? And
It
there's
is indeed, yes.
and what was interesting, it was told to me by, who is it? Is she the executive director, or what's her title?
Oh no, she's the senior minister, Reverend Susie Shadle.
Right. And
Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle, actually.
okay, I had her on a show, and I was very impressed. She was telling me that, so this is open to anybody, regardless of
Hmm.
religion.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
we've had individuals that considered themselves agnostic. We've
Right.
had people that were Sikh Indian. And we had all kinds of other individuals, no matter what the background. What Ernest Holmes used to say, because he wrote in the late 1800s to the mid 1900s. He would say that this works for anybody. New thought is not really new.
Okay. And so people can come then to the center. Do you have regular services
We
or?
do Sunday services at 11 o'clock at 2 Science of Mind Way. And it's a big, I mean, it's a wonder, we call it a Sunday celebration. It's music and inspiration. It's really a lovely place to be.
And
And we also have all kinds of other activities throughout the week. We have a regular Friday night Spirit Express. Every Friday, there's a different thing happening. We have drum circles regularly. We have what's called a dance jam on a fairly regular basis. Um, we have we used to have movie nights. We've had concerts. We have this wonderful Bob Sama and Shannon Plummer concert coming up on the 25th of May. So that's a Sunday, and it'll be at 12:45.
since you mentioned concert, and since we're talking about the center, specifically, if folks want to get more information about the center, what's the best bet?
That is cslasheville.org.
Okay. And they'll
There's a
find,
whole list of events that are happening there.
and what so impressed me with that list is that no matter what your interests are, chances are you're going to find something that you can find
Absolutely.
interesting. I don't know if you ever participated in it, April, but that's where I did the are they still doing the walk on fire, the coal, the walk on?
We have a firewalk coming up. It's scheduled for July 4th. So
Okay.
July 4th at 7 p.m. we're doing a firewalk. Weather permitting and no fire bans, but yes. Yeah, it's
Have
the
you done
kickoff of our summer prosperity class.
have you done that?
Oh, absolutely, numerous times.
Okay, and I did once. It was great because, like you said, the center is just open to anybody anytime they want, and you can
Yes.
kind of pick and choose. And I encourage people to do what you suggested. Check out the website and get on the mailing list to find out what's happening. So let's talk about what's happening in respect to you, something you're involved in. And I love the name of the title. They're going to have Asheville, the Day of Love. What's that all about?
So a day of love came about because we live in divisive and almost chaotic times right now, that there's so much division between people, and I'm right, you're wrong. And to me, the answer is love. The answer is the awareness of the good that we already have and the connection we already are to each other. We are one energy in this world, and um, there's nothing in my life that doesn't affect you, and there's nothing in your life that doesn't affect me. So looking at and actually having conversations about love and the unity of life is so it came to me because I was thinking about my birthday, which is coming up in June. And I wanted to have an event where I don't want gifts. I want people to love each other. I want the to acknowledge the good that is already in life and in our conversations. That's not taking anything away from the stress and the issues that people are experiencing at all. But truly to focus on the good helps bring more good around. And so this whole day was created um, really April 6th. I woke up one morning and I started thinking about it. I'm like, I'm going to create a global day of love. So 6 weeks from the actual event, I was like, okay. And it's never stopped me. I mean, this is energy that I don't usually have in this way.
Well, that's one of the great things I think about the center. That the center encourages not you, but other people going to find their own thing and then
Hmm.
run with it, you know, which is so
Absolutely.
cool. But this event now, so on April 6th, they had the idea for it. Um, it's happening elsewhere though, also. Is that correct?
Well, I've put it out to lots and lots and lots of people, including international organizations. Again, I had it within I had my dear friend Reverend Chris Alexander help me with the logo, and another friend Mark Elliott helped me with marketing and developing a press release. But all of this came together so amazingly that. But 6 weeks out is a little short notice for people to do a global event.
Well, talk about the event then. So it's going to be taking not only your center, but it's going to be taken
Yes.
elsewhere also. But people on that date, and what date is it again?
It is May 31st, and at the center, it'll be at 1 p.m.
Okay. And so if people want to get more information about the center events, they can go to the website you mentioned before, it'll be there.
Yes, yes,
And
at
so,
cslasheville.org.
gotcha. So if they come there on May 31st, what's going to be happening?
Oh, it's going to be this combination between celebration and workshop. It is going to be an inclusive um, experience where there's going to be music and conversations and connections, and there's going to be cake after to celebrate my birthday.
Okay. Well, belated birthday. So that's the reason people should come, you know, to get
Absolutely.
the cake. But you mentioned workshops. What kinds of things will be happening?
Oh, no, it's going to be one event. We're going to take over the sanctuary. We
Gotcha.
are inviting all of Asheville and anybody that wants to come to Asheville to come to this event. It will also be live streamed, going to the center's YouTube page. And it will be so we are going to have conversations where I've got all these prompts for people to talk about to prompt them to why love, why now. I mean, because this is me saying that I want love, but I hear from so many other people that this is relevant in their lives right now too. So we have to talk about why. We have to talk about um, the pain and discomfort of living in this world right now in order to get to where we want to be, which is to take a day of love and make it every day.
Imagine, right, exactly.
Yeah,
But what's so cool about this is you just had this vision, like on April 6th, you woke up and
yeah,
just hit you.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty exciting stuff. And what's again, your credit and to the center's credit is that all of a sudden then they let you run with it, right? You just said you
Mhm.
want to do this and you got the go okay to promote the heck out of it.
I am the center administrator, which means I'm the one that schedules things. So
So on that day, nothing else is happening that day in the center.
no, that it's just this event.
Okay.
Yep. So a day of love. And what I sent out to all my friends around the world is really that idea that it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, as long as you make love your intention, make love that that guiding factor for that day and that moment or whatever. If you don't feel like being around people, then stay at home and do something kind and gentle for yourself. And that's fully participating in a day of love. If you make eye contact with a stranger, that's fully participating in a day of love. Taking a walk in nature, just listening to music, there's all kinds of ways to participate in a day of love. You don't have to do this event. You can do all kinds of other things.
So it's really cool. You mentioned it's going to be live streamed as well. So if they can't get to the center, they can watch it
Absolutely.
at home.
Yes. And just go to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville YouTube page. And I
Right.
don't
That's
know
fine.
what the URL is for that. So
No, but they'll find it if they go to the center page. I'm
absolutely.
sure they'll
Yes.
find it as well. How long do you see this running for? Like,
It's an hour and a half.
it's just a short time.
Yes. Yeah.
And this, let me ask you, so if people participate, and since you came up with the idea for it, do you see kind of an outgrowth of this, or what do you want to see have happen after this one day?
Well, again, I want to see this be an annual event. That's this global energy around love, because I see that uh, truly the energy of love is already here. We just need to be aware of it. It's we're not creating something new. It's the awareness of the good that is already here and the connections that we already have. And the beautiful thing is that I already have some energy around it. I already have people that are saying, we're going to help you with this next year. And so to take this day of love and make it every day and make it more intentional that I do something every day that is loving, even if it's just for me. These conversations that we continue to have are amazingly supportive to this idea and this vision of love.
Talk about the response you've gotten from it, not only from folks at your center, but you mentioned some other people. I don't know if they're involved in your center, but do you see this happening on that day at other centers as well?
So I've sent it out to centers, our centers for spiritual living as well. I've heard from a couple of the practitioners elsewhere that they are planning on participating individually, but not hosting an event this year. But I'm friends with our spiritual leader, Reverend Sonny Cantrell Smith, Reverend Dr. Sonny Cantrell Smith, and she is in support of this amazing um, day of love as well. So, but friends of mine, I have a friend in Albuquerque, a friend in Santa Fe, I have a friend in I think she's in Wisconsin. But numerous of my friends around the area have expressed interest. And I had a friend of mine that used to work for an international aid organization, and he sent it out to many of his friends around the globe.
The
So,
nice thing about the event, as I see it, is that it's easy to participate or get involved in. And
absolutely.
also, I'm so impressed with it, it's easy to replicate. So even if you can't do it for this year, did you choose, by the way, May 31st for a specific reason?
Pardon?
Did you choose May 31st for a specific reason?
It's the Saturday before my birthday.
Oh, but I was going to ask you, but how come we didn't do when's your birthday?
My birthday is June 4th.
June 4th. How come we should make it? You should have made it on June 4th. It wasn't a weekend, but
I wanted to make it on the weekend, and I was glad that the last Saturday of the month in May was not Memorial Day weekend because I know lots of people already had plans for that. So,
sure. And the nice thing about it, it seems to be an easy way you could always lock in, like the last Saturday of the month, I guess, unless it's Memorial Day, then you'd have to change it or something along
right,
those
right.
lines. So is that your kind of goal after this? You're already thinking about next year?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I've already got several people that have agreed to be part of my team to start planning for next year. Yeah, after May 31st, we'll start looking at next year
And how about,
and
yeah.
and
I love
scheduling
the
that.
concept. Just talk about this idea of a team you mentioned. So if anybody's watching this or listening to this, I guess the first thing they should do is come down on the date if they can, May 31st.
Absolutely. Yes.
But if they want to get involved in this or like the idea, either for their spiritual center or just to work with you, what's the best bet?
And my website, aprileconnor.com.
Okay, and that's spelled
Yeah.
Connor, C-O.
Conner. Thank you
Okay,
for asking.
and that'll be where people get information or contact with you?
Absolutely. So there is the event that is the center at the center on May 31st, and then there's the global information. And if you registered as a location, there is a wealth of information, logos and press release, and all of that that is free to whomever wants to host an event.
Now, had you ever done anything like this before? You mentioned like
So
what wasn't like logos and things. I mean, you had help you mentioned,
I
but
did.
but you just had this idea you want to. It's almost like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Let's put on a show. And they do in a barn or something. But
Absolutely.
you were the only one who had this idea. And after talk about the steps on it. I just love it. So after you had the idea, you ran it by who was the first person you ran it by?
So I first thing I did was write about it.
Right.
I do a lot of journaling, so I wrote about it, and then the next day I called my friend Reverend Chris Alexander and said, and she's amazing at logos and things like that. And I I said, can you help me? Um, Both her and her spouse, Reverend Ryan Alexander, I got together and let's do a logo. And the beautiful thing is no one tried to talk me out of it. No one said, "Do you really think you can make this happen?" I mean, even my sister, who can be hypercritical sometimes, was like, "Wow, I'm so impressed."
Well, the two you mentioned, are they local? The two reverends you
Yes,
mentioned?
they are. They live in Woodfin area.
It's just as you're talking about it, when you mention it, it just seems like a good idea. It's almost like, why didn't somebody else think of this beforehand?
Well, actually, I found out there was a Global Day of Love, and I forget the organization, um, in early May, um, and I think it was called uh, Global Day of Love or something like Global Love or something like that. And then there was another event about mid-May that was Let's Make Love Viral. And all of this came into my awareness after I got started.
Now, in terms of people getting involved too, it's not your decision, even though I guess it is. But do they have to be involved with the spiritual center, or they can just come by that day?
Absolutely not. No, anybody that's interested in expanding their awareness of love, creating conversations and connections around love, all are welcome.
Where do you see this going in the future, or where do you want it to go?
I've already been I give talks on Sundays and things like that, but I truly this is I see this expanding. I see this exploding in my world and around the globe. I see myself talking about this with other people and helping people recognize the beautiful love that is already present in our world. Despite all of the chaos and the pain and love is essential for realizing the good in the world.
Well, as you're talking, it kind of ties into some of the stuff your center does, and you mentioned it, I think, off the air about positivity, or what was it? What is that event coming, or what's that all about? It,
Positivity.
there's a where the center talks about people growing prosperity. It's not
Oh,
prosperity,
prosperity. Yes, absolutely.
and what's tying to that?
So the idea of science of mind is that we create the world that we live in.
Right.
And we do so by what we focus on. And to when we're talking specifically about prosperity, we're focusing on bringing more wealth, more flow of money into our world. So the summer we since the inception of Center for Spiritual Living Asheville with the John and Barbara Waterhouse, that we've had a summer prosperity class every year, and it is essentially focusing on the being more mindful of the money that we're bringing into our lives and claiming it. Um, Again, it goes back to the love, the idea of love and the awareness. What we pay attention to shows up in our lives.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that because what I love about what you're saying is, for example, if people are not turned on by the concept of prosperity or they're not turned on by the monetary aspect of it, prosperity can be love, or that.
Absolutely.
And that's why I really like the concept that prosperity bring more love and joy into your life.
The
Or,
book that will be used during the summer prosperity class is Edwen Gaines, and when she opens that book, she talks about that prosperity is not just money. Prosperity is what is wealth in our lives, and this is self-love. This is self-care. This is um, beautiful, loving relationships. This is, knowing what we want to do in the world. It's the wealth of joy in our lives.
and what's the name of that book?
I do not remember. It's Edwen Gaines. I believe it's the only book that she wrote.
Okay. If you can do this when we're off there, just send me an email and I'll mention
Absolutely.
in the description of the talk that
Hmm.
you mentioned that name of the book. But
Absolutely.
I love it also when you said that because like my wife and I have a mantra, and when we got married, we want three things in our life. We want love, joy, and ease.
Mm,
That's what we want in our life. And
absolutely.
what I love about what you're saying in prosperity, so in my mind, that's not the most important thing to me, but these other things are. So prosperity, hopefully you'll have love and joy and your life is easy. Prosperity will come as well. Talk about that course. Are you teaching that or are you involved in that course?
No, it is an event happening at the center, and the fire walk happening on July 4th is the kickoff for that event. It's going to be 4 weeks, and it's taught by Reverend Dr. Kate Grayson.
So if people
Uh,
want
sh-
more information about that, they should just go to the website as well.
Go to the website at cslasheville.org.
And if you can, also off the air, maybe give me contact information for her or tell her about it. I'd like to maybe do a webcast just on that concept.
Absolutely.
It's just
Yeah,
such an exciting event, and a lot of people have gone through it. That's also open to the public, and anybody can
it
go
is.
for it.
It is. Yes. I mean, um, with any fire walk,
Right.
you have to sign a waiver and that kind of stuff, but it is such a powerful experience.
Okay. So it's good. I mean, good stuff is happening at your center, but
How always.
but I was just going to say it's incredible that whenever I speak to folks who are involved in the center, it's always good stuff happening. It's incredible the excitement. I'll give my shout out to kind of a mutual friend of ours, but Ronald Rand has also become very active in the center, and he's
Yes.
participated in several programs as well. I mentioned that, or him in particular, to point out that one of the things I'm so impressed with, if people want to get involved, you'll take them right away. It's not like it's hard to get involved. You'll find a place if they.
No, Ronald is a relatively new member at the
Right.
center, and he's already done 2 workshops, and I believe he has another one scheduled coming up soon.
Okay, so just a great example of if folks want to get involved in the center, just show up and raise a hand. Or is that kind of how you got involved way back when?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I walked in and was like, okay, the about 3 weeks after I was there for the first time, they were having a annual meeting, and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be a member here, and I knew I was, I need to know what's happening. So I walked into to the annual meeting to find out about the financials, find out what was happening at that center. And I mean, and I became a member within a month or two after that.
And is that true about any group or organization that if you want to get involved, you just raise your hand and just jump in as opposed to wait. And I think your story is a good example of it. Within a couple of weeks, you're already involved in this as well. So to wrap up, let's just mention the key dates. So the Day of Love, a Day of Love, is May 31st.
May 31st.
Right.
And at the center, it's at 1 p.m.
And again, best bet to get information about the center is at the website, which is
Center for cslashfalt.org.
okay. And specifically, if they want to get in touch with you personally or find out more about you or get involved with you, what's the best bet?
That's my website. It's April at back up, aprileconnor.com.
Okay. And it's Connor spelled?
Conner.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, I want to thank you for being my guest on the BLAINESWORLD webcast. Very exciting event. I mean, I'm so impressed with you that you just woke up one morning and 5 weeks later, 6 weeks later, your sister was right. That's just incredible. That you were able to pull this together and not pull together, but get a lot of people involved as well. So it's not just
Indeed.
you.
Indeed.
Other people involved, and you're welcoming more people want to get involved. If not this year, certainly in the future. So whatever you're doing, just keep it up. But I'm impressed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blaine.
Okay, also my producer, Cappy Tessetti, and April, you and I will sometime bump into each other sometime down the future, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Be
Thank
well.
you.